Hi, welcome to this month's February Commissioner's Corner. My name's Claire Wool. I'm chair of the Burlington School Board, and I am joined here today with Brian Lee, who is the project director of our BHS BTC campus for Freeman French Freeman. Thank you again. This is our winter edition.
Our winter edition, yes, we've done
Yes.
this a few times, so
I
looking
know.
forward to the conversation.
I can't believe we're coming towards the end. So it would just be this winter edition and then a spring edition where we're completed. So
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you for becoming available. We are going to take you on a photo trip to go down to where we're at, and I'll let Brian do the talking and I ask a couple questions if that's okay with you, Brian.
Absolutely.
So you'll just share with the audience where we're at and what position the building is, if you don't mind, and take us away.
Of course, and it's cold out there. So
Yes.
first acknowledgement and huge thanks to the construction crew, pushing through this winter, getting everything done. We had a lot of interior work that could be done, but they have still been progressing work on the outside of the building throughout the winter. Here's the first view, is kind of the approach east end of the building, looking up from Institute Road. So we're seeing the east classroom and the eastmost of the stair tower 7 on the project. And then as we turn and look towards the west, towards the lake, this is the drop-off drive approach to the building. Kind of towards the left of the picture there, you can see the canopy projecting out. It's still clad in plywood right now. There will be a finish going onto that, but it's set up to receive the signage and the lettering that's coming on. The near building that's there is the classroom wing of the school, and then on the far side we're seeing the kind of tech center and art and kind of specialty space wing. Continuing down, these are just some views kind of walking along the front of the building.
So that tower is the actual, I love this about the school. It's the stairwell that all the students are walking up from ground level all the way up to the 3rd floor. So every stairwell is filled with windows. So you're looking out at the athletic fields or looking out at, you can see Camel's Hump from the distance on the 3rd floor, which is amazing. But I love that the towers of staircases have windows.
Yeah, and this east end of the building is, it's got 3 stair towers. It's actually, it surrounds a central courtyard, kind of a trapezoid, not quite a square shape, but that is one of the 3 main stair towers that get you up and down between levels 2, 3, and 4, which are the levels with the general education classrooms. And as we come along, we're seeing now the next stair tower over. On the right are the classrooms, and on the left is actually the administrative core of the building. So you have admin offices on all 3, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level, as well as kind of functions that support administration, like the nurse's office, IT, the multi-language learner liaison office, and some of those kind of core functions for both the school and the district.
And I love the mature trees that we've already gotten planted that have their 2nd full year of growth. And I love the uniqueness and design of the street lights. They're not those big cavernous poles.
Right, we were fortunate. Again, Whiting Turner did a great job of getting out ahead of the site work. So that this project there will be work at the very east end of the property between the east face of the building to the road that will be kind of completed over the summer. We'll talk schedule a little more, but most of the site was planted, graded, and installed last summer or fall, so that come spring, all that material is going to be growing and settling in before people even come. Again, kind of looking back east at the classroom wing.
And that's all brick and glass. I know the St. Albans glass, and like you talked about, the window on top of each of the windows to deflect sunlight.
Yeah, and we'll see some images, I think, as we go forward from inside. But there are sunshades, as you can see. The sunshades are over the vision glass to prevent glare as the sun shines in and reduce solar heat load into the classrooms. And then that white colored glass directly above it is translucent, and that brings daylight into the classrooms. And then as we kind of walk along the Institute, or on the drop-off road parallel to Institute Road, this is the front entry. Kind of going from bottom to top, the main entry doors are right behind that tree. They're actually still in plywood now because the contractors are using them. Yep. To the right, you'll see kind of a little projecting forward glass corner. Mm-hmm. That's the corner of the first level administration office where you would go if you're arriving during normal school hours, but not during arrival departure time, to sign in, get your visitor badge, all that procedure to come into the school. If we could actually jump back, maybe. I don't know if this is out of time. Perfect, thank you. On the second level, we have the second level, the Learning Commons, and you can barely see it here, but there is a railing there. There's an actual small outdoor deck. It's kind of set back on that upper level for a couple of different safety and fire code reasons. We kept it back from that front edge, but it does allow people to come out and enjoy the daylight. And then on the third level, we are seeing up into the Learning Commons, which we'll look at a little bit more. This is just kind of looking down the access road, and where you're seeing all those kind of mats in the road, that will be one of those paver crossings. So you'll have pavement, but where the pedestrians cross the road, because this is the path from the school down to the sports fields, there will be pavers to slow traffic, kind of designate this as a primarily pedestrian place.
Yeah, and I remember you were saying there'll be brick, they'll lay brick in that, so people will know that's the pathway to this fields. Yep.
Exactly. Here we're seeing through the 3 flagpoles that are at the front on the left side of the entrance, and at the what I kind of refer to as the Technical Center wing. So the lower 2 levels here are the Burlington Technical Center, and then above that we have programs like the Food Sciences and Design Tech and the Computer Maker Space and the Art Rooms. So some of those spaces with special kind of requirements are in that wing. And then in the back portion of the building on this side, we have the kitchen, we have locker rooms, and we have the gymnasium and wood shop, and the mechanical rooms for the building. So that's kind of that area. And this is the front-on view, looking at the entry to the building. You can see some of the features I talked about before. And those kind of V-shaped light fixtures up in the library. I'm going to let each person decide how they want to see them. I like to, there's a few kind of metaphors we've used to describe them, but I think that they're exciting visually, whichever way you want to describe them. Yeah. And this is kind of if you were to walk in, looking parallel to the west down that wing, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of an eyebrow, we call it, and then a wing wall at the bottom that kind of frames that wing.
That's looking towards North Beach, yeah.
Yes,
that's
right down
beautiful.
towards North Beach. This is kind of having hiked all the way up around to the back of the building. If you know the campus, you might know where the wood chip plant is, or if you were to drive all the way up and you're used to walking through Marham's Forest from that kind of parking lot that has been up behind BHS. So this is the north side of the building. On the right, we're seeing the gym box and some of the major mechanical equipment that serves air in and out of it. At the center, you're seeing the north entry, which is where most likely on a daily basis faculty, but also for evening events, the parking back here will support visitors and individual coming into the second level of the Commons. Yeah. And then off to the left is the, again, classroom wing. Again, some of those same views. You can see down to where those rows of cars are parked. That's also the area where we have a fair number of electric vehicle charging stations. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited for the capacity that's been built on site. This the site has, I think, the capacity for 18 vehicles to be charging at a time at various charging locations, and a transformer sized so that and conduit in the ground to add much more if that even becomes tapped out.
So that gray part, like we said, I love that the we can go to the next slide. Yeah. That gray is the gym. So the top of the gym has the translucent windows that go all the way around. So we're north, and then it'll go west side, and then east side facing the playing fields. Yeah.
And these are just kind of a tour set of pictures, so we can go right past this one. This is actually the old chip plant. That's the old chip plant. We can kind of keep going. This is down looking at that same gym box from the parking lot directly in front of it.
And then below that is all the kitchen?
So
Or
below that, on
that?
this level, is actually the mechanical room
Oh, got it.
and the wood shop.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
yeah.
the wood shop with the
We
exit
can
door.
go kind of to the next. And then this is looking at the actual, the portion that's farther away, that's 3 stories, is again the classroom wing, again with a stair tower with, in this case, windows in 2 directions at the landings, so you can really look out into Arms Forest. And the 2-story portion that's kind of closer is where the counseling offices are.
Yes.
And then on the level above, there's some flexible seminar spaces.
Right, so if I'm a teacher, I'm walking in, this is looking to the left, to the east of North Avenue, where the bulk of the classrooms are and our support staff, and
Yeah.
I'm walking into the door. Great, which is the
And
door.
this would be the entrance on the north side. So yes, teachers would arrive here each day. There's also single doors kind of set farther aside on each side. There are, on this side of the building, entrances to undercover indoor bicycle parking. So people who are bringing bikes that they want to keep out of the weather
Yep.
can park them in a location that's going to have a security camera on it. And but more importantly to me, it's going to just be visual. Like people walking around inside the school are going to see where the bicycles are parked. They'll see if people are out there meddling with them.
Got it.
So I think the goal is, of course, to make it a viable way to come to the school.
Without a doubt. During those, we have at least 6 months where we can bike to school.
I see people on bicycle. I saw
Now.
somebody on bicycle 2 days ago. So
True,
there are people
true.
of all sorts in Burlington and probably of all ages.
Yes.
And then this is the westmost end, the rightmost end of that portion of the building. The overhead doors into the wood shop there, and to the right of this, and then those windows are in the wood shop. And actually, if there's another picture, there might be a view. Not so. To the right of that is the entry to the what we're calling the
that's
community
right.
gym entry.
Yes, yeah.
This is the west side of the building, so this is actually primarily the loading dock side. And now we're coming around to see the entry to the Burlington Technical Center. So the canopy there on the corner is Burlington Tech Center, and looking back up the road, the access road. So that access road will be one way. This view will be a do not enter view.
Yes.
But all the traffic will come down. To
And
here.
buses can all fit
And
through
buses,
that.
yeah,
Yep,
it's all
so
sized for
of that.
buses to
That's
come through.
fantastic, and obviously fire and that.
Yeah. So now we're jumping inside the building, and this first space we're looking at is the auditorium. We're up on the balcony, looking across the balcony to the opposite side. You can see the kind of steps for seating down below, with a little like partial wall. There will be a cross aisle directly in front of that partial wall. And at this level, there's seating on both wings and immediately to the left of the picture. That bracket you're seeing in the middle is to support a projector. There is a drop-down screen that comes down at the front of the stage so that the space could be used as a theater, like a movie theater type of space as well.
Cool.
And then this is that same spot looking back towards the stage.
I can't believe all the painting that's been done, all the backdrop and all the.
Yeah,
the,
it's,
I mean, that's all blacking all
obviously
that out.
making it all neutral so that then
Yes.
when the theater, whatever program happens, that pops. We still have a few finishes to come into here, and obviously the seating, but this space is really coming together. Here you see on the upper left some of the acoustic wall panels. So those are fabric wrapped up on the upper left
Yes.
to absorb, and then all this wood is angled wood panels to break up and diffuse the sound through the space based on acoustic engineering principles.
Amazing.
A couple of the test seats up brought in here just to kind of see what it will be like to sit up on the upper portion of the balcony.
Great.
And now coming across to the 3rd floor on the north side of the building, above that north entrance we have a space we're calling the multipurpose forum. And this is looking across that forum at the seating. So there's kind of a seating on 3 sides, a little bit like a black box theater.
Yes.
And then on the north side is a glass wall, but we also have blackout shades that can be pulled entirely to make this a dark space if you need to do that for black box theater use.
Yeah.
You can see a grid up above, so you could add that sort of lighting. And that seating area is kind of retractable, so we can make that whole space open or bring the seats out and have about 120 people maximum in here. If you're just seating around the perimeter, it's about 70 or 80 people.
If this was so requested by students and faculty when we gave, what is the hope for, being able to have engaged opportunities for learning and student presentations or student or guest speakers that didn't require the size of the theater. And I'm just so excited to learn about this technology, like you said, pulling out these two risers with seats that will be, adhered there, so you can either push them back or pull them out and accommodate students. I mean, we have, a little under 1,000 students, and so for two classes to come together and be able to collaborate or do presentations, this room is really, really special. I'm just so excited to see how this seating works, and the size of the space is just something that had been, something that people had talked about for.
It's actually very similar in size to the open stage area of the main auditorium. So in that regard, it could also function as a practice or rehearsal space, given that the stage foreshows the sets have to be and on stage. So sometimes you have two things going on at once.
So great.
And here's the view to the north out of that space. Wow. And again, being a north view, most of the time it's diffuse light, so you don't really have lights like glaring in.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Just some details. We're going to see a whole bunch of kind of the progress of the project. So let's talk about schedule really quick. We're looking at obviously tile and a product called Flotex. It's a flocked vinyl, but it's similar to a carpet. The building will be turned over for what we call substantial completion, which means that the school district is able to take it and start using it for its intended use on April 2nd. Obviously, there's still some things that will happen after that. There's furniture that has to be brought in. If there are any loose ends of the construction, those will be going on. Work that has to be completed on the site that requires warmer weather than we have now will continue into the summer. But it also means that most of the spaces are starting to look like finished spaces. So we just saw some bathrooms. This is now that learning commons or library. We can see those same V-shaped fixtures that we saw from the outside in this tall space that extends to the south. It's harder to tell now with the snow on the ground, but you are actually looking over the sports fields there, so you can see the turf field on the right and the outfield of the baseball field on the left there.
It's just the metal tracking system and the lighting is just so elegant and so clean. I know that it also, for efficiency's sake as well, like it's on timers or automatic. I mean, it just explain the details, like how this metal.
So all the lighting is. Throughout the building, the lighting is on control systems that harvest daylight, so that means they can dim when it daylights, they're dimmable, they're on timers and occupancy sensors, all of that sort of thing. Within this system, it is like a 4-inch, what we call linear metal ceiling, and then the light fixtures were selected to kind of match that dimension and be hung within those strips to align. And likewise, you can see a little bit on the left, there's some diffusers for the air for the HVAC system also aligned to that strip to give it a nice clean look. And this zone is essentially going to be the open, what you'd call, we used to call it the stacks, but that's not really, it's going to be more like waist-height shelves for the most part, filled with books, the space with a variety of tables, chairs, places for students to gather, collect whatever the media they have, but more importantly, interface with each other, interact, and do some study and research.
Beautiful.
Along the right-hand side of the space, kind of looking back into the building here, we have these kind of more private study spaces. So these are rooms that will be closed off with glass. The old days of like the library is the quiet zone are long gone. So these are going to be some spaces for quiet study so that the general library can be its own environment.
A little bit of a hum, right.
And you can have these, one of them is more of like a small meeting room for 4 to 6 students to maybe work on a project together, and then a couple spaces that will be just set up with kind of stools and shelves or tables, for students to kind of sit down, focus, tune the world out, and just get some work done.
And I know that our generation has seen the difference of using glass to, not that they're, in essence, fish bowls, but that you have Shannon Walters, who's our beloved librarian at Burlington High School. This is her world. It's the epicenter of BHS, the most, I would say, visited location or locale, and it really does connect both wings of the school, being at the center of the school above the front entrance on the 3rd floor. And I loved what you said. It is, the shelves are waist high or chest high so that you can see through the space.
Right.
And if those students or whomever are using those rooms off the library, the commons area, they're visible, what's happening in those rooms. So you can see if they're empty or if they're full.
And throughout the building, the library is an example, but the reason there is administration at multiple levels, student support services are located, for example, at the far side of the 1st level from the main entry. Counseling is located on the north side of the building, whereas administration is on the south. And that was very deliberate to allow for the staff and teachers to kind of be in the place where they're naturally doing the work, allow the students to be in the place where they naturally want to gather, but still have appropriate supervision and awareness of what's going on, so that you're not kind of constantly trying to herd people into other locations that maybe don't feel as natural, but you can supervise.
Right.
We want it to be, we call it passive supervision, so that it's, people are able to do their work, but also kind of just keep an eye on things.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. This is a typical, we have 3 levels of the classroom wing of the building, and on each of them there is a corridor that looks like this, with the lockers down one side of the wall.
And I know that you said these corridors are extra wide so that as students open the lockers and they take up some space, the width of these hallways
still
are wider.
a little room to get by. Yeah, and these are also for folks who were familiar with the old lockers at BHS. They were too narrow. So these are sized appropriately for putting your boots in and so forth. We also recognize that a lot of students do not use lockers anymore. They are not bringing backpacks full of books from class to class, that sort of thing. So there's enough lockers here for our kind of projected use, which is about 40% of the student population.
Got it. Thank you.
This is a typical science classroom, showing some of the tables, overhead utilities coming to the tables. You're seeing that kind of orange filter fabric.
Yes.
So throughout the building, every ductwork opening is covered with this filter material currently to protect the ductwork, to ensure that no construction dust gets into that ductwork before we finish construction. Here's another example of that product we call Flotex. It's got like a texture a little bit like carpet, but it also, so it's got some spring to it, but it is as cleanable as vinyl, which is very important for a facility like this and the school district to keep maintenance costs under control. Another of the science classrooms, this is actually a space, there were only a few things, the bleachers in the gym and the science millwork from some of the science labs that had been renovated more recently at the old high school. So those were the few things that were brought, put into storage and then brought back out. And
repurposed. We're so happy.
Getting repaired and reused for this use. This is a corner in the corridor up on one of the floors. I guess I can see it's on the east end of the building, because through the window you can see some of the granite on that east classroom.
Well, I wanted to share because the lighting was so cool, and I thought, oh my gosh, we have to take a picture of this. How and who thought of that? And it just offers great light, but great design. Just
so there's kind of 2 corners to the classroom wing that have that are just these square corners where we have these fixtures to kind of mark that portion of the building. And then those east classrooms, you see that big glass wall from the outside, so here's an opportunity to see that same thing from the inside.
These are the 3 top first, second, 3rd floor looking at North Avenue.
At North Avenue. And the actual classroom size and like other amenities are the same as everywhere else. The difference here is, of course, the big glass wall.
Got it.
And they do have quite the view.
Yeah.
Typically throughout the classrooms we have these large monitors. We can kind of keep going through, but so here's a more typical classroom. This is actually one that looks into the courtyard. You can see the other side of the courtyard through the window.
Yeah.
There's some basic millwork in each classroom, some storage and a wardrobe. This one's a little bit unique in that what we're seeing on the wall is some of the technology for a kind of a collaborative learning classroom where there will be multiple monitors and tables set up near them so students can break out into groups and plug their device directly into a monitor at their table at 4 different locations within the room. And then the teacher has a main monitor. So they can each work on a thing in a group where they look at a monitor together. Then the teacher can ask one group or another to share what they're doing up to the main monitor, and they can all talk as a class. So
cool.
There's 6 classrooms with that level of technology in the room. That's another piece of the technology, which is a camera that can be set up to kind of track the teacher. It's what we call for class capture, so the ability to record a lesson
plan
for
so
somebody who is missing it.
So cool.
Or to, if you have another sister school with a similar setup, to actually have 2 classes interacting across the interfacing. Yeah.
Very cool.
So some exciting technology there.
The lighting is great. The windows look great.
And yeah, other than that, this is typical of the classrooms, that kind of linear direct, indirect light, some windows. In the corridors, we have kind of these hanging bars, so you can attach, kind of slide a piece of paper up in there, and it just kind of stays.
Bulletins. We want no Scotch tape or masking tape or duct tape on any of the walls.
And especially no thumbtacks.
And no thumbtacks, yes. So these will be for all the many posters announcing what's happening.
Those are throughout the building, all over the place.
Yes.
View into some of the typical stairs. In the corridors, most places have that ceramic tile wainscot to protect the walls. Pretty basic stairs, rubber stairs, painted. Each stair tower has its own color, as a little bit of an orientation. Each floor also has its own color.
Yes.
And then stainless steel for the actual handrail that you're touching. And this is what a typical corridor and the floors look like. This happens to be, I know this is by the gym because we can see the concrete block on one side.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how many more. Oh, we have some pictures. I was going to say we're starting to run low on time.
Yes,
I don't know if you want to.
We can go quicker.
Through these pictures quickly, but there's some shots of the gym in progress. Beautiful.
Beautiful. So exciting. This gym floor.
And this portion that's coming in will be a plastic. It's a floor much like the middle schools have. This is a teaching a kitchen space. We can kind of go through these. There's several pictures of this is what we call food science. So there's actually 8 stations where students can cook in this space.
Amazing. I know that's
And as we're looking at these, I'm going to talk a little bit about schedule. I kind of already outlined, but April 2nd is our big day. That's where everybody on the construction team is pushing towards, and the architecture team. And once we get there, then the district's going to be able to start moving furniture in, and it will be over the summer that we can start to really hopefully have opportunities for the public to start to see this building. We'll talk about that some more. These are some great more images of the commons. We're starting to put the acoustic fabric wrap panels up in this space as well. Typical bathrooms throughout. We're really just pleased with the level of finish we were able to get throughout the school. For the attractiveness, but also the durability.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at, I know this is the kitchen, we can go through the kitchen quickly, but the garage door, the cleanliness of the job site, the amount of people working, looking at the plans, thanks to Freeman French Freeman's organization, Whiting Turner's organization, the things that we could develop. This is a walk-through cooler, so they get delivered from the back, brought in. The grease traps that we see here, all accessible. And then the amazing locker engagement space off the gymnasium that we can use multi-purpose for there's not just one, there's many for all the different teams that we have. And just so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously we kind of ran out of time. There's so much to see. but we're just really thankful and amazed at how we're coming. We're at about 7 or 8 weeks to completion, and it's all hands on deck. We're nose to the grindstone, whichever metaphor you want to use.
Yes, we're
all
there.
working pretty hard to get this done.
Well, I can't thank you enough. Thank you, audience, for taking this tour with us. We are so excited, and thank you so much, Brian, for your dedication and your attention to detail and your team that's working on this.
Thank you, and huge group effort.
Appreciate. Now you're gonna have to drink a big glass of water because I had you talking the whole time. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.